Hello, everybody. Welcome to Paradigm Review Show. Ross of the PXF channel. Like, subscribe, share. Mac the Critic, aka Mac the Rebel. Follow him on social media. You can see our tags. Make sure to check out our past reviews. You can go into the archive and see what we have reviewed previously up to this point. Today we have Creed 2, drama, sport genre, sequel film to Creed 1. New installment of the Rocky franchise, which I think is like eight films, something like that. A high number of films. If you are a Sylvester Stallone Rocky fan, if you're not, I don't know what you're doing here. you can tune out now. But yeah, so it's been a while since I've seen this. I think you've seen it a couple times back. I don't know. Did you you rescreened it recently?
No, actually, the time I watched it was the first time I watched it.
Okay, yeah, same.
But it was definitely like something memorable. You know what I mean? Like I definitely was liking, definitely where the Creed series is going. So with this
absolutely,
obviously,
I agree.
But,
So we'll like dabble into one a little bit. Like this is what I don't get. Like right now, Creed 1 has a higher rating than Creed 2 on IMDb. I don't even know how that's possible. Like I couldn't really see how anyone could think that almost, other than it,
really?
Unless Creed was the first time you saw a Rocky movie and you were like, oh my God, a boxing movie with montages and 80s music, and you're just like, your brain couldn't handle it because, you know what I mean? You really thought it was the most epic thing ever. But Creed 1 for me, like, honestly, I'll just start with my backstory of the Creed series. I did not care to see Creed 1 at all when it came out in the theaters. Everybody was telling me it was good. Everybody, like, I wasn't even going to go, period. Like, I just didn't care because I just didn't want to see Rocky's character get dragged out into this other storyline, as if, like, Rambo was a secondary character in some other action movie, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not what I was looking for at the time. Then some things about Creed 2 got announced. Spoiler alert, then it was announced that Ivan Drago was reprising the role of, or Dolph Lundgren was reprising the role of Ivan Drago in Creed 2. Once that happened, that changed the game before the trailer, before everything. So I went back to see Creed 1, so I would be on track for Creed 2. So that's my story. I'll let Mac tell you guys his. So
no, definitely, man. I mean, like when I checked out Creed 1 and all that, like at the time, I just wanted to watch a movie, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to see what was new in the movies and all that. And
for sure.
obviously, like you, I heard the feedback, but at the same time, like you, I didn't buy into the hype, so quickly.
I didn't know if maybe, like, just real quick, I didn't know if maybe those are like new sports movie films, like new sports movie fans, like, Creed is one of the first ones they're ever seeing that was a boxing movie or a sports movie, so they were so impressed by it. Whereas if you're me and you and you're coming off 5 or 6 Rocky movies already, that's not going to be the most revolutionary thing for you. Another boxing movie with Rocky in it, you know what I mean? Yeah, if it's your first time seeing it, probably it's sick to you, but for us, like, we've seen 20, 30 sports movies, you know what I mean? So anyway, go ahead.
Nah, definitely. But yeah, it's like I said, like it wasn't something that I wanted to buy into the hype so quickly because like you, when you're a fan of the Rocky series and such, basically, I mean, you just don't want to see like anything go downhill from there. I mean, you already had Rocky 5, you don't want it to go any further.
And Rocky 6, which makes Rocky 5 look epic, you know what
I mean? Pretty much. But but for Creed 1 though, when I watched it, I'm kind of glad I did because it shows it kind of evolutionized the Rocky character a bit because it showed like now he don't have to be a boxer. Now he can coach boxing to someone who was a son of a friend that he lost in the ring and all that, and figure like get this lost kid just pretty much on the right path, and
Yep.
And have him recognize how great, a legend his father was and how much of a legend he could be, So yeah, so yeah, to me, Creed 1 was a great introduction to the character. I give it that. It was a really good introduction to the character. I loved it for what it was, you know what I mean? It obviously I like seeing Rocky in this one, even though he's a little older, worn now. Just this is pretty much it right now. He doesn't have no more fights in the ring no more. Unless you want to go
Yeah,
see him in his other character in freaking with De
grudge
Niro.
match.
What is it called?
Do not talk about that in my sports films reviews. Bring it. Well, anyway, I want to speed this up a little bit just because this is a Creed 2 review. So for me, Creed 1, yes, I went back and revisited it to get the story, and same thing. It does do a lot of formulaic stuff from the Rocky franchise, and I thought it was like decent. Like the fights were good and stuff like that, but honestly, some of the story, I got to be honest, is like filler in there. So I mean, I would probably be at between like a 6 and a 7 on Creed 1, maybe like a 6.5. You know what I mean? But I don't know how it has a 7.6 on IMDb, so I had to dock it and give it a little bit less than that. It looks like I rated it a 7, but I mean, I haven't been back to it since I watched it that first time to watch 2.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, compared to the sequel, yeah, definitely, I would say 7. I mean, in that case, I think I gave it maybe like a 7.5 or 8. I don't remember.
The first one, yeah. So, I mean, we could do our Creed 2 reading at the end, as always do. You have anything else on Creed 1, or you want to move into 2?
Nah, but, the only thing I could say about 1, though, it's just a great introduction to the character and all that, and for anyone that's just pretty much a big fan of the Rocky series and wants to check out the spin-off, definitely Creed 1 is one way to start, so
Absolutely.
yeah, man.
So leading into the sequel, Creed 2, a few years later, they make a sequel to it and whatnot. Like, whereas Creed 1 is like a good movie, I think Creed 2 is a great movie. Like, I think they both have different directors. I mean, it's tough to say, but I just feel the story comes together way better in Creed 2, and it just, whereas like you said, like some of the stuff in 1 can be like regurgitated themes that we've seen before, like of some of the themes that are in Rocky 1, like the underdog coming up and fighting the champion. It's like I was saying, formulaic. But Creed 2, once you add like this revenge theme and you expand upon the Creed verse, you know what I mean, aka Rocky verse. What you have is, you know what I mean, it starts to change because he has this personal thing against, so what we want you guys to know is when they introduce the Dragos, you have Ivan Drago, who is Rocky's opponent in Rocky 4 that defeated his trainer, his friend and trainer Apollo, you know what I mean? And then Creed 2 introduces Ivan Drago's son, Victor Drago, who Creed is now the champion, and he's defeating all these guys. And Victor Drago trains out in the Ukraine with Ivan as his trainer, and they call him out for a super fight, and it becomes it actually has a narrative and a storyline to it because it becomes a revenge tale of Rocky basically somewhat telling him not to do it because he knows that the Dragos are killers. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. I think that's what makes, Creed 2, so epic. It's just because obviously in the first one, his opponent was like himself, but in this one, his opponent is a lot greater now. You know what I mean? Now it's an actual villain, like, oh man,
like a Rocky 4-esque international villain. It channels that same energy, And again, you could say like we've heard the story before because that goes back to what I was just saying about it being a regurgitated Rocky 4 storyline, but somehow the way they do it is awesome to me. You know what I mean? It's still kind of fresh. You get to see more of Russia, and you get to see more of training and their relationship, the Drago's relationship. You know what I mean? Which is cool. There was something posted about the Drago project on IMDb. The Dragos. I don't know if that's like a film really someone is considering doing or not. I think Dolph Lundgren is like awesome. A lot of people are saying like different people had the best performance in this movie, like Michael B. Jordan. Like I think Michael B. Jordan is like good. I think he was better than he was in 1. I'm not crazy on him. I don't think he's like incredible or anything, but I think he did a lot better in this than he did in the first one. You know what I mean? And
Oh no, definitely. He's a decent actor, for
yeah, he's coming along. I mean, I think if they do one more or whatever, I think he'll probably be ready for like something amazing after this. From what I've seen from him, I think Creed 2 is his best work. But
yeah.
I think and a lot of people say like Stallone was the best in the first one or Stallone was the best in this one, and I think that's like easy to gravitate to because Rocky, him playing the lead character in the Rocky verse, aren't you always going to come back to him and say he's the best in a way? Because the whole story is like about him regardless. But I think Dolph Lundgren coming back and reprising Ivan Drago and this is like one of his best roles like in years. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he's got other stuff is good, like Expendables, but like, man, I thought he was so sick. I mean, almost all the scenes are good. I mean, filmmaking wise, right? Fire cinematography, the action scenes of the fights are crazy. I do want to say, dude, the Victor Drago kid, he looks way bigger than Michael Jordan, so he looks like in a real fight that he would absolutely ether him. But I don't know. It is a movie, guys. So. Do you think that guy looks way bigger, right? And stronger and faster?
Of course. Like you gotta like what you call because it's pretty much like the Rocky 4 just in a more modernized format.
Modernized, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously Victor got to be the big, like fight that in the end, you know what I mean, of right. Michael B. Jordan's Punch Out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So in this one, like I thought he was a good villain just because you could see he was very competitive. He was very like angry like his dad, everything the sins of the father came down to the son, and now the son is trying to like make up for that. And with like you said, Dolph Lundgren's performance, which he did very good, I mean, I'm glad that he had more of a speaking part in this one, because obviously y'all seen Rocky 4, the only thing you'll remember him say is "I shall break you," or
He dies. He
dies, exactly.
We still haven't said it yet. We say it 90 times a day in our regular lives, so.
Even though I kind of wish his son would have said it, just made it more epic. But,
his son should have said something new. I'm sure he said a couple things.
I will break you, but this time in two. Some shit,
to pieces. See, also, let's shout out Ivan Drago. Well, is that a spoiler if we say who else from their family? Is it reprises her role in the movie, or should we just save that for secret?
Well, I mean,
it's 3 years old movie. I think we could do it, right?
Yeah, I think we could do it. Yeah, just because you haven't seen it yet, that's your fault. If you haven't seen it,
you can pause this and go watch it, and then come back to this review and see what we said. But
exactly, pretty much.
Shout out to Ivan Drago's wife, his ex-wife. It looks like it's Bridget Nielsen who plays her.
Bridget Nielsen.
Drago,
she comes back. Yeah, of course she comes back.
Has a little secret cameo, epic role. One of the better ones in the movie. I think her and him are two of the best characters of the movie, honestly. And Victor is definitely the best new character because he was way better than Creed. So.
Hell yeah! And I'm glad they in some of the dialogue, they speak Russian also just to show.
The translations with subtitles. That's wild.
Exactly, and give them more personalized. Exactly, just to give a more personalized feel of the life of Drago. Now, what is him dealing with his son, and it gave the character more. I'm gonna just say this: it gave the character a lot more depth.
Yeah,
than it did in Rocky. Rocky 4 just seemed like a big bully. You know what I mean? This one, he's more of
facing defeat.
Now you're understanding.
What happens to Drago when he has to go home to this end of the failing Soviet Union after taking a loss? You know what I mean? And it gives you insight of like Max said of what he had to deal with, and then coming back, he wants to train Victor to get the win, to get back his win from when he lost. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So he's training him so hard because he wants the revenge for his fight too. You know what I mean?
That's the demon he has to carry. In the end, it shows you how greatly translated it is in this movie. So definitely one of the best key scenes. I'll say that.
Yeah, the training montages and all that stuff are sick. I especially like the ones with the Dragos. I mean, I just think, it follows them around. I'd say, maybe half the movie or something. So it does a pretty good balance between Rocky training Creed and this. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's that new director's style. I guess he's like a Cleveland, Ohio guy, or just like what made it come together. But I just found like the pacing, the story, even the fights, almost everything to be an improvement on Creed 1, in my opinion. I mean, I didn't like, I watched Creed like a little bit before I watched Creed 2, so it wasn't like I watched them like side by side to compare them or whatever. But from what I remember, man, Creed 2 was sick, man. I was so happy to see Drago back. I was like, and I couldn't believe it, man. It's crazy. When I saw him in the trailer, I was like, holy crap, that's nuts. You know what I mean?
Drago was definitely one of the more memorable villains of the Rocky series. When you think of Rocky. And who was the craziest villain, the most epic villain in there? Obviously, people want to say Drago,
He seems like the most dangerous by far, you know what I mean? Like,
can't say Clubber Lang. Clubber Lang was hard, but, he was no Ivan Drago, man.
Clubber Lang was crazy, but he wasn't, I don't think he was not as strong as Drago. And also, Drago's way bigger than Clubber Lang, you know what I mean? So
exactly. Hell, Drago probably pound on Clubber Lang if there was a match between those two.
Badly, dude. He would kill it. He would kill him. I don't know if they could make a computer simulation or how they can get it handled, but you know what I mean.
Well, we'll never know. We'll see one day if it happens. Shoot.
Creed 3. I don't know why
Creed
3, aka Grudge Match 2.
Have freaking Clubber Lang and Tommy Morrison be the freaking. They team up just to get Creed.
Yeah, have to be like 2-on-2s, like WWE. Some I don't, you know what I mean. Have to get it figured out with team fights. I wanted to shout out real quick. Sylvester Stallone is working on that director's cut of Rocky 4, and it's supposed to be awesome. And don't worry, everybody, he's removing Paulie's robot. So thank God. You know that robot?
Oh, you talking about Rocky? Yeah. I know you're talking about Paulie's birthday party and the stupid robot came out with that stupid cake. Well, happy birthday party! Like what the?
So dumb. Even Sly hated that himself. He was like, I don't know if he posted on the gram or something, but he's like, "Don't worry, everyone. I'm taking out the robot." I'm like, thank
and
God.
What you call the robot disappears and Apollo Creed keeps talking like nothing happened. Like what the? You're not gonna talk about that robot for real?
If he could edit in Drago to punch that robot's face, this robot is weird. I must break you. He just snaps it in half. Maybe they could cameo Victor in there. If they could somehow.
Made in Russia? I don't think so.
It's American made shite. But yeah, that's I still do want to see the Rambo Last Stand extended cut because I heard that is fire too. So I need to see that when the Rocky 4 director's cut comes out. I'll check it out. If you guys want us to like review director's cuts of old stuff like Rocky 4, whatever, if a new director's cut comes out of something old, like you want me and Mac and whoever to review it, we can review that stuff as well. Like, you know what I mean? There is there's a Godfather 3 recut too, so that's a possibility as well. The Coda.
Yeah, and there's so many freaking cuts of Apocalypse Now at this point, man. Shit.
Yeah, I think I've seen almost all of them. The final cut, I saw the one in the movies. I've seen almost all of them, so can't go wrong with that. But yeah, man,
Blade Runner or whatever.
The final cuts of that too. So Creed 2, I know we drifted off a little bit there, guys, but it is what it is. Creed 2. Do you have anything else on Creed 2, Mac? Comparisons to 1 or just final thoughts?
Besides the actors doing well in this one, they gave more character depth in this one. It surprises me that IMDb would even give it such a rating, less than Creed 1 and all that. But
yeah, and especially if you're a Rocky fan, I think like having original villains come back, like that alone would have got it. So yeah, the first one has a 7.6. And this one has a 7.1 on IMDb, which
which is surprising. You know what I mean?
It is surprising.
Oops. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, okay, if it ain't your cup of tea, if you're a big Rocky fan to the point of, it has to be perfect, then to suit his own. But in the end of the day, I enjoyed it for what it was. The thing is, it's a spin-off that's pretty much trying to be its own thing and not trying to buy off too much off Rocky. Not to mention, I think it was good choosing Ivan Drago Victor Drago as the villain because his father has history with Ivan Drago. He died in the ring by Ivan Drago, and Victor Drago wants to Well,
If you haven't
well,
seen Rocky 4, you're like 50 years late.
exactly. So yeah, just take it in as it is, you guys.
No,
But
that's why
yeah,
that was my whole point earlier is by, like you said, by picking the Dragos as the villains, it re-related the story back to, like, what Creed was fighting against in one, which was like his dad's legacy, and then
mhm,
this making it full circle of trying to beat the actual villain that that killed his father in the ring. So, like, again, it made it personal, and it made it a revenge story, and it gave it a different theme than like what Creed 1 had, which is just, like you
exactly.
said, defeating himself and being champion and basic goals that any boxer would have, blah blah blah. This also shows like how Rocky and Drago interact with each other after their infamous duels as well. So, you know what I mean? You get to see total different interactions of the characters. So
Exactly. And it's good to do it like that because for ones that haven't seen the Rocky series and they seen Creed, they were like, well, maybe I'll go see the Rocky series, see where, what led up to those events. So yeah, I
yeah, I would
mean,
advise it. I mean, if you're an absolute complete Rocky universe noob and you don't even know what Rocky is, Rocky 1 or Rocky 2 or Rocky 3 or Rocky 4, you're gonna want to at least go go back and watch those. And then if you have to, you can skip 5 for a while. You can watch Creed 1 and Creed 2. If you need more, then you can come back to 5.
or as VX would do, skip Balboa too.
I would skip that one because you do not want to see Rocky Balboa at 60 years old versus Mason Dixon. I hate that fight with a passion. Like that's so
Yo, I
bad.
thought Rocky was gonna fall apart on that one, man, but it's all
I
good
mean,
though.
he stayed in the fight. That's all I can say about it. He stayed in the fight, but it was not good and it was horrible to watch. Like I didn't watch Grudge Match. You guys can have Mac do that Grudge Match review for himself on his own channel because I'm not gonna touch Grudge Match with a 10-foot pole. That shit's garbage.
Grudge match is ass, man, but it's all good, man. It's
Anyway,
all good.
going back to Creed 2 and our ratings. You guys know how our reviews go, man. We have fun, guys. But we're going to be coming back probably next week with Mandalorian Season 1. Pew, pew, pew. We're going to get on our sci-fi spaghetti western, you know what I mean? And that will be followed by some other stuff. Wolverine Season 1 anime, Mandalorian Season 2, and we have a bunch
Yeah,
more planned after that.
hell's yeah.
I don't know why you guys gave Creed 2 a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb. You guys got to get your rating systems checked. I gave it an 8 because the movie was fire. People keep talking about who had
Hmm.
the best performance. It was Dolph Lundgren, Ivan Drago, the greatest boxing
I'll
villain
say
of all
that.
time.
I'll
Florian
say that.
Munteanu played Victor Drago. He had second best. You know what I mean? There's a chock full of secret cameos. So, Mac, you could give him your rating and.
Nah, I mean definitely. I give it an 8.5. If I gave Creed 1 an A, I would definitely give this an 8.5 just because it's
This
anti
was
up anti way up. You know what I mean? And since we are now familiar with the Creed character and all that, and now seeing this character going against someone of equal or greater strength, you know what I mean, that could just pretty much kill him in the ring and all, facing the same fate as his father, who knows, you know what I mean? Like this is that type of movie, man. You know what I mean? It has a great acting, great
yep,
suspense, great like tension building,
yep, good
to this
pacing, good
good
like editing,
pacing.
everything's good, clean
And gets
camera.
more in depth into Rocky also, you can see like Rocky now conflicted in the position that he was in when he was with Apollo when he died and all that. Now he
Yep,
doesn't want
yep,
the same thing happening to this kid. So
yep.
it's obviously like, you're gonna see a lot of Rocky and him, going back at each other once more, so like it
Hmm.
did in the first, but obviously on a whole different plateau. So I'll say that.
Yeah, I like having Rocky in that Mickey role that Mickey played for Rocky in the first few movies. Like now Rocky's
Mm,
playing that role for Creed, as Mac was saying, like his
he's
as
being
his
his
mentor.
Mickey,
Plus,
man. Being
also
his
like
Mickey.
also his best friends with his father. So there's like multi layered, you know what I mean, dimensions to the content. And this, like, again, like
Definitely.
Creed 1, I don't see myself going back and watching Creed 1 like a ton of times for replay value. I feel like I could watch Creed 2 a few times. Like I could pick up more from it each time of the Dragos and all the other extra like stuff they were saying of Max said of Europe. Of them speaking Russian in Europe and
Of
stuff. Like
course.
I could feel like I could easily watch this film 2 or 3 times and not get sick of it anytime soon. So
course.
I can see it being anything from an 8 to a 9. It's a super solid film, guys. If you like Dolph, if you like Sly, if you like Drago, watch Rocky 4, and then give this one a spin. I liked it a lot. I think I liked it much better than, again, if it wasn't for Creed 2, guys, I probably would have never watched Creed 1. Just being honest, just me. I'm not some Rocky fanboy, but ridiculously good movie. Fire
Trust me, you guys. I had to convince this guy to watch it, man. So
everyone did. I had to put a gun to my head. Even though I like movies like that, I like boxing and I like fighting movies. I don't want to see sports movies get like overused and too like burned out. You know what I mean? Because there was a popular genre in like 80s, 90s, and the type of stuff Mac and I cover on the channel. So, but this one was solid as hell. So check out Creed 2, Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren. Epic film directed by Stephen Cable Jr. So check that one out, guys. Like, subscribe, sub. Mandalorian season 2 coming soon. Next episode. Tune in next time.
Creed 3 coming soon. We don't know who the villain's gonna be in that one, but it's gonna be epic though. Hopefully, if not, then who knows, man? Maybe it'll be just the end of the Creed series there. But who?
Yeah, honestly, I think this would be a good send off to stop it here. But you know how Hollywood is. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to.
Yeah, you know, make it go up to Creed 6, and then they're gonna call the last one what, Adonis Creed and all that. Like his name Rocky.
If Creed gets to Mason Dixon, dude, I'm turning out, dude. I don't want to see it go that far. You know what I mean? It never works out. It never works out. Ross, Mac, PXF, youtube.com/PlanetXFilm. Follow us. Anything else? Are you good?
Nah, that's just it. You know, follow us in Instagram and Twitter. Pretty much on our tags. So yeah.
For sure. We're out. Till next time, guys. Tune in next time. 1.
Peace.